What if the pillar you lean on every morning is not holding you up, but is instead slowly, silently weakening the very foundation of the temple? What if the energy it gives is a lie, a debt that your body pays in the quiet darkness of the night? Most will only focus on the discomfort of letting go. They will miss the profound liberation that lies on the other side. 99% will not understand the final stage of recalibration, and without it, they will simply trade one master for another, remaining forever a stranger to their own true power. Borrowed kingdom. Before we can speak of quitting, we must first understand what it is we are truly doing when we consume this dark, bitter brew. We believe we are adding energy. This is the first and most fundamental illusion. You are not adding anything. You are taking. You are forcing your own body to expend its precious, finite reserves at an unnatural pace. Think of your body as a quiet, well-managed kingdom. Your adrenal glands are the royal treasury, storing the kingdom's deep reserves of energy for times of true need, a genuine emergency, a true threat. This reserve is not meant for the mundane task of waking up in the morning. The caffeine you consume is like a foreign army that storms the castle walls. It does not bring its own supplies. It puts a sword to the throat of the royal treasurer and screams, "Open the vaults, give me everything now." In response, your adrenal glands flood your system with stress hormones, cortisol and adrenaline. This is the jolt you feel. It is not the energy of the coffee. It is the energy of your own kingdom in a state of alarm. It is the energy of crisis. Your heart beats faster, your pupils dilate, your muscles tense. You are ready for a fight or for flight. But there is no tiger to fight. There is no cliff to flee from. There is only your desk, your kitchen, your morning routine. You have declared war when there was no enemy. To do this once is a shock to the system. To do this every single day at the same time for years, for decades, is a form of self-imposed tyranny. The kingdom becomes accustomed to the daily invasion. The treasurer becomes weary. The vaults, once full, begin to run low. The body, in its profound wisdom, begins to adapt to this chronic state of alarm. It starts to down-regulate its own natural processes. Why should it bother with the gentle, natural release of its own waking hormones when it knows the foreign army is coming at 7 a.m. every day to force the vaults open anyway? The king becomes a beggar in his own land, dependent on the daily raid just to feel normal. This is the state from which we begin. It is a state of borrowed energy, of chronic, low-grade emergency. We are living on a loan, a debt taken out against our own life force. And the interest on this loan is paid with our deep sleep, with our mineral reserves, with our emotional calm, with our true sustainable vitality. The feeling of needing coffee is not a sign of love for the drink. It is the quiet cry of a kingdom that has forgotten how to rule itself. To quit coffee is not an act of deprivation. It is an act of liberation. It is the beginning of a quiet, peaceful revolution to overthrow the tyrant and restore the rightful king to the throne of his own inner kingdom. Great unraveling. The first stage of this liberation is often the most feared. It is the withdrawal, the period of unraveling. We have been taught to see this as a negative experience, a punishment for our indulgence. This is a mistake in perception. The symptoms of withdrawal are not a punishment. They are a form of communication. They are the body, for the first time in a long time, speaking to you in its own true voice, revealing the authentic state of the kingdom now that the noise of the foreign army has ceased. To listen to these signals with curiosity, not with fear, is the first practice of true self-awareness. The most common signal is the headache. This is not the body being difficult. This is the body healing. Caffeine is a vasoconstrictor. It narrows the blood vessels, especially in the brain. For years, your body has been fighting against this daily tightening, pushing to maintain normal blood flow. When you suddenly remove the caffeine, the vessels relax. They return to their natural, wider state. This sudden increase in blood flow can create a pressure that you feel as a headache. It is not a sign of damage. It is the sound of a river, long dammed, returning to its natural, powerful course. To experience this is to feel the first stirrings of true circulatory freedom. Then there is the fatigue, a fatigue that can feel bone deep, profound. This is perhaps the most important signal of all. This is not a new tiredness created by the absence of coffee. This is the true level of exhaustion that the coffee has been masking for years. It is the kingdom's treasurer finally opening the books and showing you the true state of your depleted accounts. The borrowed energy is no longer available, and what you are left with is your authentic current state. To feel this is terrifying for the ego, which wants to be strong and productive. But for the spirit, it is a moment of profound truth. You are finally meeting yourself where you actually are, not where the stimulant has been pretending you are. This is the necessary starting point for all true rebuilding. You cannot build a strong temple on a foundation you refuse to see. There may be other signals: irritability, brain fog, a feeling of slowness. Again, do not see these as enemies. The irritability is the nervous system, long accustomed to being in a state of artificial alarm, learning how to exist in a state of quiet. The brain fog is the mind, long reliant on a chemical jolt for focus, learning to generate its own clarity from a place of stillness. This entire phase of unraveling is a journey through a landscape of truth. It is uncomfortable, yes, but it is honest. To walk through it with patience and self-compassion, providing your body with rest and gentle nourishment, is the first and most courageous act of this revolution. You are not falling apart, you are simply allowing the false structure to dissolve so that a true one may be built in its place. Deepest sleep. After the initial storm of the unraveling begins to subside, the first great gift appears. It often arrives so quietly that you may not notice it at first. It is the gift of true, deep, restorative sleep. For years, you may have believed you were sleeping well. You went to bed, you lost consciousness, you woke up in the morning, but this is not the full story of sleep. Sleep has an architecture, a complex and beautiful structure of different stages, from light sleep to deep slow-wave sleep to REM sleep. It is in the deepest stages of slow-wave sleep that the most profound physical repair occurs. This is when your body releases its largest pulse of human growth hormone, the master hormone of regeneration. It is when your tissues are mended, your muscles are repaired, and your body truly rebuilds itself. Caffeine is a master saboteur of this sacred architecture. Its half-life, the time it takes for your body to eliminate half of the substance, is around 5 to 6 hours. This means that if you have a cup of coffee at noon, a quarter of that caffeine is still circulating in your bloodstream at midnight. It is a ghost in the machine. Even if you are able to fall asleep, this lingering caffeine prevents your brain from descending into the deepest, most restorative stages of sleep. It keeps you tethered to the shallow end of the pool. You get the quantity of sleep, but you are robbed of the quality. You wake up feeling not truly rested, but simply less tired, and the cycle of needing an external jolt to start the day continues. When you remove caffeine from your system, you are giving your brain the permission to finally, fully let go. You are removing the ghost from the machine. After the initial withdrawal period, you will begin to experience a quality of sleep that you may have forgotten was possible. You will fall asleep more easily, you will stay asleep more soundly, but most importantly, your brain will be able to journey into the deep, quiet valleys of slow-wave sleep without interruption. The master craftsmen can finally come out and do their work on the temple in peace. You will begin to wake up in the morning feeling a different kind of rested. It is not the frantic energy of a caffeine jolt. It is a quiet, deep, and cellular sense of restoration. It is the feeling of having been truly rebuilt from the inside out. Your mind is clearer, your body feels more whole, the aches and pains may be less pronounced. This is the first great reward for your courage. It is the foundation upon which all other healing is built. True energy is not created by stimulation during the day, it is cultivated in the profound, silent, and sacred darkness of a deep and undisturbed sleep. By quitting coffee, you have reopened the gate to this most holy of healing chambers. Inner ocean. The second profound gift that begins to manifest is the restoration of your inner ocean. We have spoken of the body as an ecosystem, a sea within. The health of this sea is determined by its hydration and its mineral balance. True hydration is not simply the amount of water you drink, it is the ability of your cells to absorb and utilize that water. This ability is entirely dependent on a delicate balance of electrolytes, minerals like magnesium, potassium, and sodium. These are the elements that give your inner ocean its life, its electrical conductivity, its ability to communicate. Caffeine is a diuretic. This is a clinical term for a simple reality. It makes you expel more water than you consume, but it is worse than that. As this water is flushed from your system, it takes with it your precious water-soluble minerals. Every cup of coffee is a small act of depletion, a flushing away of the very elements that your cells need to be truly hydrated. You drink the coffee, which is mostly water, but the net effect is a slow, steady draining of your inner sea. You are pouring water in, but you are also opening a drain at the bottom of the ocean floor. This is why a heavy coffee drinker can feel chronically dehydrated with dry skin, muscle cramps, and a persistent, low-grade thirst, no matter how much plain water they consume. When you quit coffee, you close this drain. You give your body the chance to finally achieve a state of true, deep, cellular hydration. The water you drink is no longer being immediately flushed away, along with your vital minerals. It can now be retained, absorbed, and utilized by your cells. The body's innate wisdom begins to re-establish its natural mineral balance. The kidneys, no longer under the constant diuretic pressure, can do their job of regulating your inner ocean with greater intelligence and efficiency. This restoration of hydration and mineral balance has far-reaching effects. The communication between your nerves and muscles improves. The random muscle twitches and cramps may begin to disappear. Your skin may begin to look more supple, more alive. Your digestion improves, as proper hydration is essential for every stage of the digestive process. You may find that your joints feel more lubricated, less stiff. You are, in a very real sense, refilling the well. You are restoring the life-giving quality of your inner waters. This is a quiet, internal process, but its external manifestations are profound. It is the feeling of your entire being becoming more fluid, more flexible, more resilient. It is the feeling of a parched garden finally receiving a long, slow, nourishing rain. Quiet mind. Perhaps the most subtle yet most transformative gift of this journey is the return of a quiet mind. For years, you have lived in a state of chemically induced low-grade anxiety. The daily infusion of caffeine constantly stimulates your sympathetic nervous system, the fight or flight branch of your autonomic nervous system. This is the system designed for emergencies. It keeps your heart rate slightly elevated, your muscles slightly tensed, your mind slightly on edge, always scanning for a threat. To live in this state day after day is profoundly exhausting. It is like keeping the engine of a car revving slightly in neutral all day long. It wears down the engine and wastes an incredible amount of fuel. We become so accustomed to this state of inner static that we mistake it for our personality. We think, I am just an anxious person, or I am naturally irritable. We do not realize that we are living in a chemically altered reality. The constant stimulation creates a mind that is quick to jump to conclusions, quick to anger, quick to worry. The thoughts race. The focus is scattered. It is a wide but shallow state of awareness. We can do many things, but we cannot be fully present with any one of them. We are living in a constant, low-grade inner storm. When you remove the caffeine, you give your nervous system the chance to downshift. You allow the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest branch, to come back online and assume its rightful place as the dominant state of being. This is the system of calm, of healing, of quiet contemplation. The shift is not always immediate, as the nervous system needs time to recalibrate, but when it happens, it is unmistakable. The inner static begins to fade. The constant racing monologue in the mind begins to slow down. There is more space between your thoughts. You become less reactive. The small annoyances of daily life no longer trigger an outsized emotional response. You find a new reservoir of patience, of calm. Your ability to focus deepens. Instead of a scattered, wide beam of attention, You can now generate a focused, penetrating laser of concentration. This is true focus, born from a state of inner stillness, not from a state of frantic stimulation. To experience this is to meet a version of yourself you may not have known for decades. It is to come home to a mind that is naturally peaceful, a mind that is a quiet, clear sky, not a raging storm. This inner peace is a source of strength that no stimulant can ever hope to replicate. True fire. And so, after you have walked through the unraveling, after you have rediscovered deep sleep, after you have refilled your inner ocean and quieted your mind, the final and greatest gift is revealed. It is the discovery of your own true fire. It is the return of your natural, sustainable, and authentic energy. You have come full circle. You began this journey because you thought you needed an external source of energy. You have ended it by realizing that the most powerful, most vibrant energy you could ever desire was already within you, waiting to be uncovered. Your body's natural rhythms, for so long suppressed and overridden, begin to reassert themselves. Your cortisol awakening response, no longer blunted by the early morning chemical assault, begins to function as it was designed. You start to wake up before your alarm, feeling naturally alert, clear, and ready for the day. Your inner sun is rising on its own schedule, with its own gentle, reliable light. The energy you feel is not the frantic, jagged energy of the caffeine jolt. It is a calm, deep, and unwavering river of vitality. It does not have dramatic peaks, but more importantly, it does not have devastating troughs. It is a stable, foundational energy that sustains you throughout the day. You become reacquainted with the subtle language of your body. You begin to feel the gentle, natural waves of energy that rise and fall throughout the day. You learn to work with these rhythms, not against them. You learn to recognize when it is time for focused work and when it is time for rest. You are no longer trying to force the body to perform according to the mind's rigid demands. You are in a state of harmonious cooperation. You have become the wise steward of your own energy, drawing from a well that is deep and self-renewing, not from a shallow, borrowed cup. This is the ultimate liberation. It is the freedom from dependence. It is the discovery that you are and always have been enough. The coffee was never the source of your power, your creativity, or your productivity. It was merely a noisy distraction that prevented you from accessing the deep well of power that was already inside you. To find this true fire is to find a new sense of trust in yourself, a new sense of sovereignty over your own being. It is the realization that the kingdom does not need a foreign army to feel alive. It only needs its own wise and gentle king to return to the throne. The final principle: the journey of quitting coffee, especially after the age of 60, is a profound spiritual practice disguised as a simple change in diet. It is a path of self-discovery. It is a process of peeling back the layers of artificial stimulation to reveal the authentic nature of your own being. But the journey is not complete simply by stopping. The final principle, the one that ensures this liberation is permanent, is the principle of conscious substitution. You have removed a powerful ritual from your life. Nature abhors a vacuum. If you do not consciously choose what to put in its place, you will inevitably be drawn back to the old habit, or you will find another equally problematic crutch. The practice is not just to quit, but to replace the old ritual with a new one that is deeply nourishing and life-affirming. If the old ritual was a hurried, anxious cup of coffee, the new ritual can be a slow, mindful cup of herbal tea. It can be 5 minutes of gentle stretching in the morning sun. It can be the practice of drinking your first glass of warm, mineralized water with intention and gratitude. It can be a moment of quiet meditation. The specific action is less important than the quality of the intention behind it. You are consciously choosing to begin your day from a place of calm, of nourishment, of self-respect. rather than from a place of desperation and need. This act of conscious substitution is what solidifies the change. It rewires the brain. It creates new neural pathways. It provides the comfort and structure of a ritual without the physiological cost of the stimulant. It is the final act of the peaceful revolution. You have not just overthrown the old ruler, you have lovingly and intentionally crowned the new one. This is how you ensure that you do not simply trade one master for another. You become the master yourself. You become the quiet, confident, and wise ruler of your own inner kingdom, sustained not by a borrowed fire, but by the steady, radiant, and inextinguishable light of your own true nature. For those who have walked this path, what was the most unexpected gift you received? For those considering it, what is the greatest fear that holds you back?